Is Gary ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to Haunt After Hours, where we cover all things related to the work, chaos, and fun that go on behind the scenes of haunt production. I'm Heartless Heather. I'm here with Nanny Janny.
Hey y'all.
Big Ant.
Hey everyone.
And Director Gary.
Hey everybody.
We are officially in season 2 of our podcast season, so I'm really excited about that. We have not gotten together for a while, so this week we're going to just be doing a catch-up episode and let everybody know what's going on in our lives and why we have not been able to record the last few weeks. We've actually got a couple of messages like, what's going on? Are you guys ending it? No, we're not ending it. We just had some chaos happen behind the scenes.
Life happens. Life has been happening.
Yeah, and we'll get into all of that. But before we delve too much into tonight's episode, I have to poke fun at something really quickly. We were so excited when I got this email a few weeks. I received this email on April 24th. That's how long ago. And I was so excited. I'm like, this is going to go on next week's podcast. And we never had a next week's podcast. Here we are, May 22nd, recording the next week's podcast. So, it says, I was listening to your What Trans World Was Like this year, and I'd like to put in my letter of interest for Director Gary. Thank you for your consideration. P.S. So we were so excited. I'm like, oh, Gary's got some interest. What's going on? And then come to find out, she includes this P.S. I have to mention, I met Gary yesterday for coffee. I swear I'm not crazy. I just thought it would be funny to respond. So Gary,
she is crazy. Absolutely. Just bug shit, crazy.
Kind of a requirement, I thought, for getting posted.
So you can't edit this, right, Gary? She's not a follower, right?
One of your requirements to not be crazy. Like that wasn't even in the top 10. So I guess it's
right.
Being a woman wasn't even in the top 10, was it?
Yeah, no, I think that was
discussed this already.
Number 4. I just got lucky. She ended up being the lady. I was like,
you got lucky. She was crazy. And a woman. I'm so confused.
So now is Creamy officially off the market?
Yeah, I'm off the market.
Oh, that's exciting.
When did you get a meet?
I just heard a lot of our followers close the podcast down right there. All 5 of them, yeah.
3 of us are still here.
Yeah, that's it. 3 of us are still here, Gary.
She's really cool. Oh.
Can you bring her on the show one day?
I'm not introducing to you guys.
What did she think about the Halloween attraction industry?
Very interested, and she would like to work for you guys.
Oh, she is crazy. Bring her on.
She hasn't heard the pay yet, though.
She might. I don't want to vouch for her, but I got a feeling she'd probably work for free.
What does she think about all?
So she has heard about the pay then. All right.
What about the movies? What's she think about that?
She's all about it. Yeah, she was there when we did the thing at the bait barn.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was the blonde-headed girl.
Oh, in the
drunk?
The short.
Oh, yeah, the one that picked up the beer can off the.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Oh, I just thought that was a local snowing girl.
I thought so too. I really did.
Find that lady on the road. I brought her. She is very fun.
So, was she picking up a beer can off the road when you met her? Is that how you met her?
I got a proposal for you.
How did you meet her, Gary?
Bumble.
Oh.
She wrote me because you can share your Instagram on there.
Yeah.
Looking at a lot of my art, I think. And she said, "Hi, I'm an artist." And so I looked at her Instagram, and she draws some really cool stuff too. And so we went to go meet up to draw and have coffee, and now it's just kind of like what we do like all the time.
I've never heard of somebody having their first date drawing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
How romantic.
Good deal.
Did you draw each other?
Let me see your stick figure. I'll show you mine.
Try that line. There you go.
We both brought something for each other to draw, and I brought her E.T. And then she drew it, though.
Oh, yeah. Now you got to have to show us.
That's not ET.
That doesn't look like, oh, okay. I see the little one there.
Pinhead's mine. That's her there. I don't know if you can see it from there. I don't have enough cord.
Yeah.
That looks like Cody.
Oh goodness. All right, so Gary's been MIA the last few weeks because he's found love, so he's cupcaking.
It wasn't like that. It was insanity.
I'm so out of touch with this lingo.
God, it was. I got screwed over. The guy who was running my Sea Scout program brought our boat out of the water and then just promptly left. And because I'm the president of the organization, I had to take over.
Yeah.
So I was up there because we're getting charged by the day and we're a nonprofit, so it's not like we have money. And so I had to get that boat prepped, painted, and then back into the water. And you probably did 90%. Uh-oh, we lost Anthony.
Wait. No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
There we go.
I pushed a button. I was trying to raise my volume.
What do we do down here?
I probably painted and scaled about 90% of that ship. It was.
Why didn't you call some of the RH members out? They would have helped.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm stubborn, I guess. I don't know.
All you do is, anytime you need help like that, we have a good group of people that volunteer to do a lot of stuff. You put it on the ROH family page and you'll get people to show up to help.
If I run into trouble like that again, I think I will, because that was a bit much.
Yeah, I bet. Sorry we weren't there to help.
So is it back in the water?
Yeah, it's back in the water, no leaks. All the paperwork, all that's done. I have to have, it's so ridiculous. I have to have actually 2 inspections. So we actually have a hall inspector come out. He does an inspection, but he does the same inspection as the Coast Guard Auxiliary. But I also have to, because it's the state of California, I have to have the Coast Guard Auxiliary come out and do their own inspection. It's the same inspection, but they want 2 inspections.
2 different facilities, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to call up Steve. He's my Coast Guard guy, and he needs to come out and inspect my boat. But other than that, we're done.
So who's the captain of the ship?
I am. I took it over.
Oh, so now we can start doing weddings on there. Creepy weddings.
You really can if you want. I don't know if you want, but you can. But this summer, like when you're all down, we're going somewhere. Even if it's just for
Let's go.
We're going. We're gonna push the button and take off.
Good deal. Hey, we should do a podcast from there.
Oh, how cool would that be?
We can. We got a full kitchen in there. 2 restrooms. It sleeps 16.
Jeez Louise.
It's a big ship. It's not small. It's big.
Can we take the kids, like Heather's kids, and
absolutely? We'll just keep them out of the engine room. If we can do that, we're fine.
Keep them out of the what room?
Engine room.
And the lake.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't.
There's just a lot of moving parts down there. I don't want them getting.
Yeah.
Or
Gotcha.
something like that. But besides that, heck yeah, they can go.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it will be.
Good deal.
I'm excited for you. And I hope it works out. I hope you're
taking up my time. Yeah.
So, not to change the subject, but to go back, I just realized it says Miss Nurse Ashley. Is she a nurse?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa. What was that?
Well, she took off.
You guys have a ghost.
What happened?
Only one? Uh-oh. Somebody bumped. Oh, poor baby.
Did she drop her tea over her or what?
No. In the chair or something.
She must have fell off on the chair or something.
Yeah.
That's our littlest haunter. That's Kinsey May.
It's pretty, master.
That's what?
For a minute, I thought we saw a haunting on tape. I was like, whoa. But the chair moved on its own.
That's what she gets her. That's karma. That little girl gets karma. Then.
Oh, yeah. She told her.
I think the karma is coming down here. She's broken?
Oh.
Get up on the bed.
They brought her to the south wing. The south wing is the emergency care unit.
Yeah, that's where Grammy is.
Okay. Oh, poor baby.
Oh, because you were trying to climb in your high chair, weren't you?
All right, Miss Heather. We got her from here.
Oh, probably because she bumped her head.
You bumped your head.
She fell off the couch.
Hi.
Oh, that's not Uncle Anthony. That's
Hello.
Hi, Gary.
She said hi, Uncle Anthony.
Hi.
Oh, you messed up your hair. Say hi, Gary.
You bang your head? Oh my goodness.
I banged my head.
Oh my goodness. You look okay.
I banged my head in the high chair.
Did you get your ears pierced?
I banged my head in the high chair.
Say hi, Mommy. Look at Mommy's over there. Say hi, Mommy.
Tell me about your ears. You got your ears pierced?
You got your ears pierced? It sure does.
Cool.
I banged my head.
I know you did. I know.
You're going to bump it again. You're going to fall back. Let's just not lose focus on the fact that she bumped her head.
Is the timeout chair? That is a timeout chair. And she was trying to sleep on the timeout chair and she rolled off of it.
No.
And her high chair was
That's why I do it. That's what she did. She said,
Okay, so we're in the middle of working, so now you guys
bye, guys.
Go back to the hospital bed.
So the other kids are all sleeping, but I told Kinsley she could stay up and watch Spidey, Teen Spidey. I don't know if she.
No idea. I didn't even know there was a Spidey. What is a Spidey?
But then she came down and decided she wanted to watch Elsa, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of recording. Just lay down. So,
Well, I know what Elsa is. So my understanding is this is Elsa, and this is Spidey.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's Spidey. How do you do it?
I'm thinking.
Okay. Other than that, I don't know the difference.
She's going to freeze you with her power. Anyways, so what were we talking about? So she's not a nurse, so she might really legit just be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because we could use a nurse right now. Somebody bumped their head.
No. Just don't call Miss Nurse Ashley.
She's not a nurse. She's a referral specialist.
She just dresses up as a nurse sometimes.
Well.
Anyway, so before we delve in, so we'll get everybody caught up on the craziness that goes on in our worlds. But before we delve into all of that nanny Janny, let's have a talk about it.
She there?
How about we skip that episode, that part of that segment right now?
Well, is she busy?
Heather, count us. There's me. Hello. Gary. Hello. And you. Do you see Janice anywhere?
I didn't see her earlier, and she was right there by you. So I just assumed she was right by you.
Okay, hold on. Oh.
I think that's why Heather brought her down here.
Oh, is that why you brought her down here?
What happened? All right.
Nothing.
Do you have a booze story of the night?
Okay, so I was going to tell another booze story, but it won't be any fun without Miss Molly being here. But we'll have to get into Miss Molly's story in a little bit. But I'm going to take us back to 2017. 2017. Let me see if I can find these guys' names here. I had this out. Okay, so Levante Ellington, Travis Baker, Maurice Robertson, and Jaquez Williams. Now that sounds like four geniuses put together, doesn't it there? So these four were spending a little bit of time in Holmes-Humphrey County Correctional Facility, Lexington, Mississippi. And they came up with a genius plan one night that they were just going to go ahead and escape. Well, since this was such a high profile facility, they walked outside, jumped the fence, and they were gone. And they walked about a mile to a Dollar General store. And they decided they were going to break into the Dollar General store because it was closed. It was after time. So they break in and they got off with just stuff they can put in their pockets, cigarette lighters, some prepaid phones, that type of. I don't know how Dollar General got prepaid phones, but that's what it has in here. Anyways, this is where their plan took a little interesting turn. See, if it were me or anybody with half a brain, they would have just kept going. But they made the genius decision that they were going to go back to the facility and break back in with all this stuff. So evidently what they stole was pretty profitable for them in jail. So their plan was to steal this stuff from Dollar General, take it back in, and sell it in jail. And one thing that they forgot, however, was that Dollar General has cameras. So the next day, Dollar General calls the police department, and based on the clothes that they were wearing and the fact that some of the evidence was found in their jail cells, they were arrested again and charged with, what does it say they were charged with here? I just lost it.
Breaking into it.
Nope, commercial burglary. So they added a little bit more time to their stay in Mississippi.
I've always thought about the prison in Atwater. I feel like that's something that people could just jump to.
I don't know.
Well, they have sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a prison in Atwater.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, right behind the old Castle Air Force Base.
Yeah.
That's what made the area go down. Once that prison went up, the area went down because, that's what moves to the area. The people want to be near the families.
You don't want
we used to deliver pizzas out there all the time, and
to the prison.
Yeah, all the time. At least once a day, I feel like we were delivering a pizza out to the prison. I don't know where it was going to. Sometimes it was a lot of.
How many packs of cigarette does it cost to get a pizza delivered out there?
I'm sure it was for the guards, but
what's the closest Dollar General to that facility?
But I just always thought, like, dang, I never seen inmates like walking the grounds or anything, but I always thought,
well, how would you know?
It looked like it would be. Oh,
you mean in the facility?
Yeah. Well, on the outside, driving up to it, I never seen anybody outside of it. So they probably, I'm assuming it was like for the guards when they were on lunch or whatever, but sometimes we'd deliver on visitation days. I don't know if that was for prison families or not.
Visitation days?
Anyways, that's what that story reminded me of when you were saying it. I was like, so you think that prisons seem like they'd be so hard to break out, and I'm sure they are hard to break out of, but there are some that just look like you just jump a fence, maybe get a cut from some barbed wire, but
apparently you do.
That's it, huh? Why isn't everybody doing this?
I don't know. Which reminds me, like, I remember after I had Kaysen is 5 years old now. So after I had Kaysen, I binge watched Prison Break, and it was, I don't know if any of you have ever seen this series, but it's such a good show. And then just recently, Kaysen and I started watching it again. It's such a good show. I mean, probably shouldn't be sitting and watching it with my 5-year-old son.
Well, that's what I was just going to think. Isn't that an adult movie?
There are parts where I tell him, close your eyes, and I fast forward through it. But
yeah, that works
the
every
gist
time.
of it, it's a good show. There's not very many things I can watch more than once. So that's a good show.
So let me tell you the boo story that I was going to tell today.
Yeah.
I had a story of a lady who pulls up on an auto accident, and as the good Samaritan that she is, dials 911 because she sees that there's injured people in the car. And the 911 operator, and the car's on fire, evidently. 911 operator asked her to see if everybody, one of them was bleeding, I think. And yeah, from the head, she wanted to find out a little bit more information. So this lady, as she decides to get a little closer, winds up slipping down the hill, breaking her leg in two different places. And as she's calling 911 to get the ambulances out there, she winds up having to take an ambulance ride her own self. So she's calling 911 for an ambulance, and she winds up taking up space because of this accident.
Yeah.
And we are speaking none other than our Ms. Molly.
Yeah, Molly Poppins cannot join us tonight because she broke her leg in several spots. Actually, it was 2 spots, and then she found out her ankle was shattered too, right?
Oh, goodness.
So she, they had her on some pain medication, and then they told her that she's tapped out on her pain medication, but she's still in excruciating pain. She just had surgery a couple weeks ago, and a week ago, right? I don't know.
Did they pin it? They had to pin it, right?
Yeah. And everything. So now she's on nausea medicine because she's just sick, and that nausea medicine is making her more sick. So she's like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to podcast today.
Yeah, poor thing.
Some people are
but
thought that would bring in.
Molly was she was on the job at a new a new job. She just got a job working as a car dealer or a car salesperson. And she was on a test drive when this happened. So the driver of the vehicle actually pulled over. Apparently it's not a workers' comp case because she deviated from her line of duty, and there's no, it's not attached to the original, to the accident. So she literally was just calling for help, being Good Samaritan, got herself hurt, and just now she's like $30,000 in medical bills. So there is a GoFundMe out there if anybody would like to donate to Molly's medical expenses, because not only did it put her out of work of the new job that she just got, but she, now she's got medical expenses on top of not having her everyday job to pay her bills. So,
right. How long is she going to be out of work? At least a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, they said it's going to be about a year before she's even walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't doubt it. I'm a year and a half into my foot operation and still not on my feet. So
it's crazy.
But what I don't get is, doesn't Louisiana have a Good Samaritan law? I mean, isn't she required by law to stop at that accident?
She has been working with a personal injury attorney, because he kind of thought maybe they could attach themselves to the original accident, because the car went off the embankment that she slid down, but it doesn't look like that's going to end up being the case. I don't know for sure. Just on hearsay, it doesn't look like that's going to.
I'm just thinking, why wouldn't workers' comp pick it up if she obligated to stop?
You know what's kind of irritating too, and I don't know. I should let her speak or not speak, but the supervisor that she reported to, she's like, "Hey, I can't come back to work. I'm getting a ride in the back of the ambulance." You would think that they would report it up to who they needed to report it up to. When she got in contact with them the next day, even while she was in the hospital, again, she's nervous, and come to find out, like, it had been like 4 days later, HR hadn't even been notified about it. Yeah. So it's just a mess.
I wonder if the car ever made it back. Think about that guy on his test drive.
Well, he did come back to purchase the car, but the next day. But he said he would only purchase the car if Molly got the commission. So when Molly's back on the show, we'll have to find out if she got the commission or not.
Oh, so there's our cliffhanger.
I want to add to that too, because I want to know who's down there working, how many other people Molly's talked with. Because I actually called the car lot where she worked at. It was a couple of days later, and I was asking about a certain car, and I said I spoke with Molly. I asked for Molly first, and they, didn't tell me why she wasn't there, just that she wasn't there. And then after we talked for a moment, and I said, well, I had looked at a car, talked to her about a car or crossover, whatever it said. And the girl said, well, what were we looking at? Maybe we still have it. I can't remember exactly everything that happened, but she would have easily swooped in and taken that cell if it was a.
That's what their job is to do.
Yeah, but I mean, Molly would not. I wonder how many people other than that.
Right.
I need to be careful because I don't know who listens to this, but I just don't. I feel like I wish I could have followed that through all the way, but I didn't let me stuck in the car then.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with all of it. But I do feel bad for her. She did just stop to help, and next thing she knows, she's $30,000 in debt. Like I said, not that, and that's just in the medical debt. That's not including the fact that she's not at work, and so she doesn't have her money to pay her everyday bills. Like,
right.
And it's not over. She still has, I'm sure, more operations or more.
Right.
And she's at least got to go see the doctor anyway.
Yeah. So
I think on our page
Molly got into an accident one weekend, and that's postponed the podcast. Gary was cupcaking one weekend, and that postponed the podcast. Nanny Jenny, do you got any feel-good stories?
I got quite a few, but they're ups and downs. Let me just tell you. I've been traveling the States for the last 3 weeks, been missing 4 weeks, missing, 6 weeks. So I've been missing podcasts here and there. And then I've been traveling with a little, one of our youngest.
Kinson.
You met her just a minute ago. Road tripping, she calls it road trip. And we're going on a road trip. So we've had lots of fun. But, we've got to stop and visit a lot of people and our cast members and our family members throughout the States. And I have some updates on one. And one we just mentioned about Molly, and we're going to have a link to Molly on there. Anybody that wants to contribute to help her on her road to recovery would be greatly appreciated. And in our hunt world, we're gonna really miss her during the times that we need her for the things that we do there in the haunt. If you guys remember Brody, we did the cancer parade for, and our clowns went out there and what have you not. Well, Brody and his mom live in Modesto, Allie, and she had sent me a message a couple of weeks ago that they were looking for a house anywhere. Their house that they have been living in for quite some time sold out from underneath them. So they'd been renting it out, and without putting, I'm not sure that all the details, but not without putting all the for sale signs and everything up, the house sold, and they basically have 30 days to get out of the house. So if anybody has that link to go back to Brody and them, if they want to share a little love for them, if nothing else, say prayers for these people for sure. We have done several trade shows throughout the season, and we have a lot more coming up. And, I'm really happy to see the trade shows and how they're improving last year. This year from last year, we went a year without them. Some of the shows 2 years without. And, they're coming back, and they're not required. Not all of them are required to have masks. It's like at your own, I don't even know the verbiage they're using. So it's really exciting just to know that it's really exciting to know that we feel like we're getting back on track as America, and that, we're opening up some of these things that have been closed. We got a long way to go, and I don't think it's ever going to go back to the way it was. And kind of like how Pastor Bobby said today, it's not going to make a difference unless those of us, the church, it's not going to change. Our politicians aren't going to change this. It's going to be the church that changes it and get us back to a normal road. And I think that, if you're a praying person, to keep the country and your business owners and your families, in your prayers, and reach out to them and support them in ways that you can. One of the commitments that I have made was, instead of buying at the large franchise stores, or, I like to eat out, but I'm not eating out at Red Lobster. I'm not eating out at, the big chain stores. I'm trying to keep it. If we're going for a sandwich, I want to keep the Mom and Dad's Cafe. If we're going for, steak, I want the I can't even think of the restaurant that we ate today, but to support our local business owners, because we're struggling. We've closed 2 businesses down. So if we all work together and support, and support our small businesses, we can make a difference. Yeah, you can see the ladybug, sure. So that's my, feel good. Sorry, that's my feel good stories. Just reach out and support the small businesses, and support the ones that you love, and start locally in our home, in our community, and let's build from there.
I'll tell you one thing that's interesting is when we were filming over at
the bait shop.
Yeah, but it's not called that though. It's called the
Angler's Edge.
Yeah, Angler's Edge.
We're going to charge them for this bit right here. Okay, so sponsored by Angler's Edge, Snelling, California.
We're going to charge your son.
Yeah.
Yes. Double. He owes me. You know how much money I have spent on him over the years?
I was surprised. We were probably there for 4 hours throughout the day. And, we'd film and stop when customers come in. But a lot of customers were coming in just to buy groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I started looking at his prices, and, his prices were comparable to regular grocery stores.
Yeah.
And normally when you go into one of those small shops, like stuff will be like insanely high, but not theirs. Their shop was just like normal prices, and therefore he's moving product.
Yeah, well, they don't have, Snelling doesn't have, they have a grocery store, but it's not where they're at. That town's kind of spread out quite a ways. And he's really trying to get people that are going out to the lakes, because we've got 3 lakes right there around where his bait shop are. Yeah. And if he can get them to leave home, not go into a major city to buy their goods before they head out to the lake, and just know that they can get their stuff on the way out to the lake at a reasonable price. Yeah. Then why would you take that drive? Why wouldn't you just head out to the lake and stop by Angler's Edge in Snelling, California,
where the beer is 29 degrees Fahrenheit all day, every day.
Yeah.
No, it was a nice little store, and it is
a cute little store.
People just come in and buy Oreos.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool.
You can buy crawdads and Oreos all at one stop. Perfect spot.
I tell you what, I'm a little concerned about your son though. He's been talking to the fish in the little aquarium there. Like I kind of notice every once in a while he'll be over, hi, blah 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 blah, like talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they grow
like plants when you talk to them.
Yeah. He's a little more mental stimulation because he's
either that or he's been drinking some 29-degree beers.
Yeah.
I have to jump back on here. I'm so sorry. We're at the midway point, and that was the top of. I was flipping through my phone trying to find my notes as I was talking, so I was kind of blubbering. We are at the midway point to Halloween, and there's several locations that are having their events. And so, if you're one of those locations and you're having the summer events, send us a message so that we can get a shout out to you. Going through Texas, there was a couple of billboards that were showing the events that they were having through the summers, and some of the fairs. Some of them will be at fairs like we used to do, and I kind of miss that. I don't miss the hard work, but I miss being at the fair and interacting with the public and having that. So that was the center part of my story, and I skipped all over that, mentioning all this other stuff. So, oops. So you can support your local haunts also because they are out there doing other things during off season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable. After 14 glasses of wine, we're good.
Oh, God.
Cheers.
Cheers. Long Island iced tea. Awesome.
Oh, geez.
So, Gary missed a weekend because he's fallen in love, and Molly missed a weekend because she broke her leg, and I missed a weekend because I poured the Blue Death into the gas tank, and that almost cost me.
The diesel tank. See, that car doesn't take gas either, dear. Please make sure you're putting the right fluids in the right holes.
Yes, into the fuel tank. So I have a Chrysler Pacifica, 2017 Chrysler Pacifica that has been in the shop since January. I have not seen my car, and its parts are on back order. They ended up having to replace the engine. It had 70,000 miles on it, but it had 65,000 miles when we first took it in. The whole thing's retarded. But anyways, so Chris, we thought it would just be, I was renting a car because we thought, when you take a car to the shop, maybe a couple of weeks after like a month, we're like, okay, just bring me your car. Cause he's going to be out in the ocean. He doesn't need a car. So he drove his car to me. He never told, I knew it was a diesel, but I had it, drove to St. Louis, drove back before I realized you even need to put Blue Death into the car. That's not any instructions that he left for me. So I was on the phone with Molly after her leg broke and wasn't even paying attention, opened up the gas tank or fuel tank and started putting the Blue Death into it. Caught myself after I put I was like, dang, this is taking a lot. Poured almost the whole 2 gallons into it.
Wait, what's Blue Death?
Yeah, it's a diesel exhaust fluid. Blue is just the brand that she used, but
okay. But a diesel exhaust fluid, I'm lost. I've never heard of such a thing.
Okay, so it's a diesel car, and diesel cars now for the emissions requires this diesel exhaust fluid. Basically, what it does is it burns off the vapors. There's a system that it pushes through, and it burns off the vapors. It's supposed to cut emissions substantially. And all of the trucks now, especially California, it's huge. All of the trucks, even the diesels, the semis have to have it.
Wow.
If it can do that much damage, they just shouldn't be so close together. Because they just shouldn't be so close together. I cannot believe.
One of them is green, has a green lid, and one has a blue lid.
Yeah, well.
Just don't put regular gasoline in it, because I can just see that happening. The thing is that diesel, the hole to the diesel pump, to the your fill hole is smaller. So you shouldn't be able to put a regular pump into it.
Right. But But
all I'm saying is, okay, so we got a Pacifica with the blown engine, and now we've got DEF in the diesel engine. So when Heather messes up cars, she really messes up a car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everything we were seeing. Well, because then suppose it would probably been perfect if I just didn't turn it on. They could have just came and drained it or whatever. But I turned it on because then I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to go dilute it and put more diesel into it. And
I would have done that. I would have done that.
And the system. So anything that it touches, it's going to erode. We were horror stories online, and it was looking like it would be like $12,000 to replace. Mind you, Chrysler's already told me that my Pacifica is going to be $12,000. Like, who has $12,000 to fix parts in cars, anyways? But we found a mobile mechanic. He came at 10 o'clock on a Friday night and drained it, cleaned it. He took the fuel tank with him, and he said he's going to pressure wash it and bring it back the next morning. I didn't hear from him at all the next day. I was so stressed out.
For 2 days. Oh my God. All we kept hearing every couple of hours, we'd get a text. Should I call the police? Should I call the police?
That's awesome.
Sunday, it wasn't until Sunday evening that he ends up like, I'm so sorry, I fell asleep. Like, you fell asleep for 30 hours? Like,
well, you guys kept him out here so late at night, and it was a Friday night.
He came back out Sunday night, late at night, probably like midnight. He finished the car, and it has worked ever since. Thank goodness.
Good deal.
My preschool, I have a Montessori school here in Tennessee, and I was telling another mom about it. She's like, my husband did that when we were dating, and he let it set all weekend, and it ended up costing them almost $20,000 to replace, but insurance covered it all. So now I know that.
How did he get the insurance to cover it?
Yeah, he said the insurance ended up covering it.
Wow.
So what are you saying? Now you know what?
Now I know that insurance can cover it. I was thinking that it wasn't going to be covered at all.
I don't know. You're related to me. So first of all, you don't have that kind of luck. I'll tell you that right now. So,
and then the closest we were going to, because I don't know any mechanics from around here. So I was thinking I was going to have to get it towed into a shop, right? Well, the closest Volkswagen shop is an hour and 10 minutes away. And my coverage only covers up to an hour away. For that extra 10 minutes, it was $160. So I was so thankful to find this guy, even though he bailed on me for 30 hours. I didn't know where he was.
Well, I'm thinking it was a Friday night when he left here. It was probably a Saturday morning when he left here. Yeah. Okay. So, and he probably didn't go straight home. He went and relaxed and had his few beers at the bar, probably before.
Probably. It was pouring rain also Friday night too. So he did. And then I was thinking like thousands. It was a couple $100. So I'm very
tip him well. That's all I gotta say. You should have tipped him very well. He saved you thousands and thousands.
That's what I was so stressed out about. I was like, Nicolette tipped him. I was like, shouldn't we tip him after he does the work? No, he came out. It's been pouring down rain. Are you kidding me? So she gave him $200 as just a tip that night. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, that's where his beer money came from. No, you didn't see him for 30 hours.
Yeah, that's what I was stressed out. I'm like,
a lot of beer.
He was asleep.
Like she kept telling me, she's like, what is that fuel tank gonna do for him? Like, he's already done the work. He just has to come and put it back on. The work he did, he's gonna make more to come back and then to keep that fuel tank. And I was like, okay. I don't know.
Oh,
well, he came back and all is good. So I've missed a couple of podcasts because I just don't know how to do these things.
Yeah, you tried.
I tried to get that Zoom hooked up and I couldn't do it. Otherwise, I would have been having my own little party with y'all.
He's like,
one foot's up in the air, his broken foot's up in the air, he's stuck in the bed. He can't face.
He was going to be having a surgery, but he didn't end up doing it.
Well, he did have one.
Oh, I had my foot surgery. You're talking. Yeah, I bailed out on my nasal surgery.
Yeah, his copay is more than what the nose drops are costing right now. So,
yeah,
way more.
Yeah, I gotta wait till Heather quits breaking cars. Actually, luckily she's got a husband to pay for that stuff now.
Gotta wait for your wife to quit traveling, I guess.
Yes, I got to wait for my wife to quit traveling. That's
Ain't gonna happen. So. Ain't gonna happen.
I am going to need my husband to pay for the Pacifica, which is supposed to be done this week. But I did pay for the fuel tank with my own dollars. Okay.
Does he even know about that? Does he know that it happened?
He does.
And everybody's going to know now. Everybody that you've embarrassed that they might find out. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, as many stories as I read online, you dang sure were not the only person who ever did that.
Yeah.
Because they were all over the internet.
Were they not all horror stories?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a couple that turned out like you, and that's what kept hope alive, I think, for everybody.
Well, I think we got lucky because the guy came out. I think if it would have set until Monday, it's a Friday night. I think if it would have set till Monday, I would have been screwed.
Yeah, I think so too. It sounded like it would have gelled up in there. So,
God.
So we just Google searched, and some guy who just started a business like that day came out. Yeah, he's like, oh, I just went on Google.
Give him a good review.
Yeah, give him a good review.
He had a few good reviews, but we were like reading through them, and like, they have to just all be friends. Like, they were so recent. And so when I asked him, do you have Facebook? He goes, yeah, I just started it today. I was like, of course you did. Like, thanks.
You just for 30 hours.
Oh, that's funny. No, well,
I don't know what the hell's wrong with me.
What's the matter?
Okay.
The nanny's been traveling. Gary fell in love. Molly broke a leg, and Big Aunt was supposed to have surgery, but backed out of surgery. And I think that was the same weekend that Molly broke her leg. So, anyways, we're all caught up. So,
did we tell you that we had Aunt Sis with us on one of our trips? Aunt Sis, 77 years old, was wearing a Rancho Horror t-shirt, and we're in Walmart, and some lady seen her and said, where is that place? And Aunt Sis got all excited because it's her nieces and nephews. And this was another lady, a little bit elderly. It's like, I'm going to go. I can't wait. So, we have these.
She has it on the books to visit all of our locations.
Yeah. So how cool is that? Like, you think that this is a younger generation that we do these things for. And it's so cool that, that we touch the heart of so many. And the
good thing about it is people in that age bracket have the disposable income to be able to come out and enjoy their time.
Yeah, my grandma said she wants to go, and she's pushing 90.
Awesome. Good deal.
Oh, that could have been who you brought.
You would not know. She's very able-bodied.
Yeah.
She just goes and goes out and wins golf tournaments and all sorts of things, and you just never know she's that age.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when I was going to do my podcast by myself, the topic was going to be about no-shows.
Yeah.
Y'all know.
Last week, that's what we were going to do. Our topic. I was on board with doing no shows because we were all set to do it. And then everyone started backing out late. And I was like, okay, let's just do no shows. Molly and her pain, please.
The day that I tried to do this on my own, and I should have just had little Kinson come over and help me because she probably couldn't have done that. But, we even had Travis. He was traveling, but he was on board too. He kept calling in to find out he got it going yet.
I wonder what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure out how to record it.
Oh, I can tell you what happened. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
I got it to record, but then I couldn't go back to find it afterwards. So I don't know what I'm doing. But
I wonder if it's on their cloud.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
You might have recorded it. It might be ready. It just might just be sitting in their storage.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. I wanted to record just a few minutes and to make sure that I was doing it right. And then, so we never did do the podcast. I mean, It's not like we wasted a whole lot of time on it, but.
All right.
Yeah, we don't have patience for that.
No, I just figured Gary's got it figured out.
30 minutes into it, we're done. He's done.
Yeah.
At least the computer didn't go flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to record straight to my computer each time we do this. And that way, we
I had some props I wanted to share with you at the last episode, but I can't find the link to it, but Gary did just finish his short video clip and short video that he submitted. You shot it with Travis and Alicia and Ashley.
Evidently Gary's new girl.
Yeah.
So much
I'm excited about this.
So we're going to link that. We have shared it on our Haunt After Hours page already, but we will link it again with this episode so that you can check it out. Have you heard anything about it yet? Feedback?
No, I haven't heard a word about it yet, but I suspect they get a lot of entries.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But again, it's a low budget, no budget competition. So we filmed it with a phone. We filmed it with no money. I think we spent $10 at the end of it. And
$10.57 to be exact.
$10.57.
Why did you use a phone?
Because I didn't want to use the camera because our camera that we're using for the film is like $3,000. And I feel like if we're doing a low budget, no budget, then I wanted to use the cheapest bit of equipment we possibly could and make it look as best as possible.
I didn't realize you did it with the phone. That was pretty good. Actually.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was really surprised. There was a few times that I saw some odd focusing, but I don't think anybody else noticed.
I just seen some really bad acting, but other than that, I thought it was really great.
If we film in there again, we're going to have to turn off some of the blowers and some of the AC units between takes during the filming because, oh man, I had a heck of a time getting the audio. But when I came to edit, I had to mess with different pitches and everything just to bring out the voices. It was kind of a nightmare, but I got it. There was a few lines where I had to call up Ashley and say, hey, I guess it was one line. I had to call up and say, hey, can you record and send me you saying this line? And okay. And I brought it back and she brought it back in. And then I had to kind of stretch it a little bit to kind of fit and keep the pitch. And it looks like she's saying it right there on camera, but she's not. So it was rough.
I bet you I know what line that is. I think I do. Because I remember thinking to myself, that voice sounds a little better quality actually.
Right. Diary.
It was a fun film. It really was a cute little film, and I had a good time watching it. It was a lot of fun to watch.
It was fun to make.
Yeah,
very fun to make. And I've talked to Travis, I've talked to Alicia, I've talked to Ashley, and all three of them are down to make a full length version. Because we figured if it only cost us $10 for 10 minutes.
And you look at like $80.
Right. Why not? Right. And so it'll just be like 24 hours in a day of just this weird crap going on in this bait store. And at the end of the film, and it's just like how we ended it this time. It's just another day. So
Gary, just so you know, in Snelling, California, if you just went and set up a video in that bait store, it's pretty much what you're going to wind up with. Yeah. You're just basically filming a reality show is what you're doing there.
Yes. I saw some interesting folks come through.
I'm telling you.
We had
They're all great-hearted people, but...
When we had our haunt... Listen, this is funny. When we had our haunt out in Snelling the first year, or the second year, it had to be the first year, a little girl was so excited when her family brought her, and she said she had told her dad that, the sign said free beer. So
that's right.
We're bringing her out there. We didn't have any beer. That's how she
knew that.
That's how she got him to bring her. When she told them that we were giving free beer.
So funny.
And then they drove all the way out there, and there was no beer. And I think they still came back like a few times that year.
That's funny.
And she was young, like third, fourth grade.
Yeah, she had it down. She had him already wrapped.
Somebody was there, not the wife, but there was somebody else. I don't know if it's his mom or mother-in-law or somebody was laughing, saying she knew how to play it.
That's so funny. That's funny.
So my point to that is Travis having that 29-degree beer. I mean, I'm sure that is a big draw.
It is, I'm sure.
I don't think it's 29. Is it?
It's 29 degrees.
Freezing, huh?
Well, that's what I thought. I thought it was kind of cold, but it's a marketing tactic he's using, and I'm sure it is 29 degrees in that fridge.
Well, beer's not going to freeze it. Regular freezing there, so.
Yeah,
but maybe.
I don't know about that temperature. I
don't know how it stays that way because you got to walk into the walk box to get your beer.
Yeah.
I can imagine that door being open quite a bit during the day.
Yeah. There was a lot of people going in there buying all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty busy little store. On its good days, it brings it. I was very surprised at the sales that he was telling me.
I'll tell you right now, I was worried. I was hoping for the best.
Yeah,
it really was. Like I thought they would sell like bait and things like that, but I didn't think groceries. But there's people coming in there, and we weren't on a busy day.
Yeah, well, that's what we're hoping is going to keep him through because this is his first year, and he opened during their busy season. Yeah. So we're hoping that during their slow season that those groceries are going to help him through it. Well, and and Alicia. I mean, we keep saying Trav, but Alicia puts in, I think, more time than Trav does down there. So
I think they're
good luck to them both.
They work very hard.
Yeah, they do. They do, and they deserve it. So hopefully it'll work out for them.
Yeah, I think it will. This is just now.
So this episode's kind of just catching up with what our crew is doing, but we want to hear what you guys are doing in your off season. So make sure to send in, what you guys do to keep yourself afloat. hauntafterhours@gmail.com. We'd love to get you on the show or share your story with our listeners. Molly Poppins is doing props now. So I don't have a prop. Anybody got a marketing tip for this week?
No, because I wasn't ready for this.
Heck, I was still looking around my living room for a prop. I'm like, what?
Here's a good prop.
Yeah.
Your mega
you talking about my IC?
After we talk about the no-shows, we're gonna have to review this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. We got to talk about what kind of actors, how your actors fall into these categories.
Listen, I seen better acting on Gary's film. Just saying.
Well, yeah.
Now that everything's slowed down, we got to get. Well, we filmed a good. I want to say we got about 7 minutes the other night with Blanco the Clown.
Of the actual movie?
Yeah, for our actual movie. Yeah, I think
he's talking about your short clip with Travis.
No, I'm talking about the actual movie. Yeah, we were able to. Oh, I see. Yes, for the Rancho horror film. So we were able to put in about another 7 minutes.
So real quick, when Corinne's seen that you had this new short film out, and she's like, well, what is this? I said, nah, she's just like, well, how is he moving on to other projects when he hasn't finished my project? I'm like, okay.
Yeah. My project, she said.
Yeah, that's what she's like.
Oh, wow.
She's like, well, my teeth are grown in now. Does he know my teeth are grown in? I can't come back and do something. He doesn't get on it. And I'm like, okay, Kurt.
He doesn't get on it. Oh, God. Well, I think we got another 7 minutes in.
It's funny that she would know that even,
She knows.
Oh, she is a bright kid. I like her so much.
Where do you want me to ship her to?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say I wanted her.
Wait till the next time we ask her to do a project and we have to go through and read her writer that she writes up.
Probably. There's going to be some contract with her.
Yeah.
To talk to my agent.
Yes.
But she's already got a lot of compliments from people who watched that clip with her in it.
Yeah.
She's crying and she looks like she's in distress.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite part. I really do think she does a great job on that one scene. Yeah.
I wanted to get it for her little. I can't figure out how to put this little acting reel thing together, so I just sent a bunch of headshots and then just video of her on her Oompa Loompa stage or whatever. But yeah, I want to add it to her little acting reel because we just recently put in her thing for another horror movie that's shot here locally. Also, it's a low budget thing too. You're getting paid for with pizza or something, but she just likes doing it. So I just figure we'll just get her in whatever she can do.
Right.
Heck yeah. Well, if you want that clip in there, I can definitely forward it to you unless you want me to make an acting.
I think I can. I think it's in one of the things. I think I have it on my computer. I just haven't. It's just not where I use. I know where her other stuff is because I've used it all before. before. I haven't used that, so I just have to mess around. Yeah. But yeah, she is, I don't really know too much about this new one that they're shooting here in Nashville, but she's really excited about it. She actually just started we're having issues with Zoom. So she hasn't had her first official lesson. She's had her first official meeting with a voice coach that's shared stage with like Ed Sheeran and all like big actors. So big singer talent. So I'm really excited for her for that. Her goal is to try and she just wants to audition at Dollywood. So we'll see if we can just get her an audition at Dollywood.
I'm going to tell you something. We thought we were just going to these girls' recital the other day because they had their dance classes. And Kinson's too. So, and Kinson dances. She does a great, great job with her routine. Oh, but sure. As a 2-year-old will do, she got up there. She waved at what she thought was her papa, and Papa did not wave back to her. So she missed her first cue. And she told us afterwards, she said, they wouldn't start. I missed my step and they wouldn't restart it for me. So she just didn't do it. Yeah. So the whole thing, she was just standing still. But when Corinne's came up, she knocked it out of the ballpark. That dance routine was awesome. And she's about 6 inches shorter than anybody else in her dance crew. So she stood out like a sore thumb anyway. But
she always seemed to manage to get herself in front and center.
Yeah.
And she had the moves to go with it. Even the car, only 3 of them had special additional moves. And she was one of them that every time that there was a special move, she was in that. She was doing flips or she was doing cartwheels or whatever it was she was doing.
Yeah, she rocked it. She did a good job. Real good job.
Yeah, I'm not just saying that because she's my daughter either. So I think she did.
Well, I had to stop myself and think, because I said to everybody around me, I think that was the best routine of the night. And I thought, am I biased? Yeah, but really, you know what? It was the best routine of the night.
Yeah.
The one with the one that her instructor who came up with that routine was in one of the last ones. And that one was one of the better routines. I think that one was the best.
Well, yeah. But that was
but they were 20-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
7.
But yeah, that was a fun. She just is good. Corinna's just good at everything she does. She's hard. She's hard to raise. She's hard to have extreme anxiety. But she's good haunter. She's a good actor. She's a good dancer. She's a good baseball player. Yeah.
She has anxiety, but she's competitive.
Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard raising her because everything gives her anxiety. Everything gives her anxiety.
And I think that there's people out there that can give us some advice on this too. I was told by 3 different people, there's these drops that just for anxiety at that age that you can give them a bubblegum drop on their tongue.
Not giving her drugs. Well, I do that when they're teething. I'm not giving her weed.
What? Give children alcohol?
You turned out fine. Just saying.
You didn't give me weed.
I didn't say
what weed. What the hell? Where'd that come from?
Isn't that what you're talking about? Like,
I think we have listeners out there that can tell us that there is some kind of bubblegum flavors or whatever. It's a natural. And I wouldn't have been for this 20 years ago because we were 30 years ago. We were taught, that was drugs. But if you go back further than that, with my grandparents, my great grandparents, on the Indian side, that was how they healed themselves. And,
that's how they got the wild dreams.
That's
they seen there's future that way.
It's where the pharmaceutical companies took over, and now you have all the stuff that causes all these other side effects. So if you can't go outside and pick a little leaf and put it in your tongue and make you feel better? I mean,
Gary, how's the comic book? Do you have any more going on with the comic book?
I am so behind. We have 3 whole pages.
Oh, love it.
We're very behind. We were supposed to have the second one out the 1st, and it is now the 22nd.
Yeah. So today's
very behind.
Pushing this thing away from you.
That's what happens when you find love.
Honestly, it really isn't her because she had been pushing me to draw. It was that guy. He just left, and I got screwed.
Yeah, that's hard.
More work. Drive up to Stockton for 4 or 5 hours and grind on Meadow Hall, and then go to work for 8 hours and then take a nap and go back up. And
So how long can you stay on the boat? Can we sleep on there for a weekend?
What in the world?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can.
So can Heather stay there for 2 weeks?
I'll need it for that, but
I'm just kidding with you.
oh yeah, yeah. So we are behind, but I'm actually trying to slow down, or have slowed down. I think this week we're resuming, and hopefully, not to back myself into a corner, but I would like to think probably by June 5th, I would like to think we'll have our second issue out.
That's it. Lock it in. June 5th.
Oh crap! I locked myself into a corner. Yeah.
So Heather's wanting to make a trip to California, and she doesn't have anywhere to stay, and Cody's not returning her calls. That's why we're asking about
that is not. That is not the case at all. Don't even get me started.
Oh no. Well, the boat I don't think you can stay in that area. It's a rough neighborhood.
It's Stockton. The whole area is rough.
We got broken.
What?
Last weekend, the weekend before, they broke into 2 of my smaller boats. And what they were projects for the kids to refurbish. And then we were going to flip them. And that'd bring more money into the unit. Well, they're not of any value now. There's a hull left. They got on board and they ripped everything out. The wire, power inverters, the batteries, the navigation, everything. It's gone.
Yeah.
They know.
That's what they did to their excursion pretty much too, huh?
Yeah.
It just pisses me off. So now we've gone in the opposite direction where we're not making money. I have spent money because we bought security cameras now. And
there was a point in time when just before we decided, I say the kids decided to get out of California. And I think Travis was actually packing up to leave. And that's what part of it got stolen. There was a point in time when over the last 12 months, we had more stolen from us than we still owned.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They tore into our warehouses. They tore into our cars. I mean, this was like multiple. I mean, it was like 6 different events in a 12-month period.
And the cops don't care.
Yeah, it wasn't. And when they broke into our excursion, they took. We had one of our businesses is called Happy Hour, and it's a party rental business. We had a checkbook in there. They took the checkbook. One of the guys wrote himself a payroll check. Wrote it to himself using his real name.
Why is this not a story?
Yeah, why is this not a booze story?
went into, it should be, he went into a liquor store, cashed it using his thumbprint to cash it. And the police still would not go after him.
What?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
That was before we moved, right?
Yeah, I think so.
One of them paid a utility bill, so we knew their address.
Yeah.
They paid a utility
One
bill.
of them paid a utility bill.
Because we knew where they cashed it, they had their address and everything on the check, so we knew exactly where to go and get. We were staking the house looking for Travis's big screen TV because at the time he had just bought a TV from Best Buy.
Oh my God.
So for anybody who ever suspected that I was mafia related, just so you know, if I were mafia related, they'd been gone. There's no evidence that they're still around. But.
That was crazy.
It's horrible.
No, it's bad. I mean, it was I can't see it getting any better, unfortunately.
It's not. So now I'm waiting for the police and the insurance to do something with my excursion. It got broken into again. And this time they took out the center console. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So, but I have to wait until I'm there longer than a week to do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we calculated out money wise. They had taken more from us than we still own. Of course, that was not counting the house and everything else that we had. But
so, yeah, it's rough few years we've been through.
Yeah, but
we're doing all right. All right, Gary, share with us your horror history.
Okay, so I'm unprepared, but so what I did was I listened to the book Psycho, and then I watched the 59. No, I think the book was written. I don't want to make up facts. All right, so I think the film was made in 1960. And so I watched, I should have made notes. Anyways, so to compare the two, well, let's start off with the movie. So the 1960 movie Psycho, made by that one guy, Alfred Hitchcock. Gee whiz. So anyways, hang on.
What's in your cup, Gary?
I got to cheat. Normally I have things written down. All right. So the budget for this 1960 movie was $806,000. And at the box office, it made $50 million, which was a lot of money for 1960.
A lot of money for now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, the movie did some first things, like, for instance, it was a first to show a working toilet. And I know it sounds funny now because we see toilets all the time on film, but back then you just didn't show a toilet on film. And the lady, I want to call her Marilyn Burns, but her real name is Janet Leigh. We're just going to call her Janet. Anyways, in her scene, one of the scenes, she tears up a piece of paper in Motel 1 and throws it into the toilet and flushes it. But that was like a big thing. Like everybody was like, whoa, you can't do that. Another big thing was, and it's even on the poster, and I'm not a big fan of the Psycho poster because it shows her in a bra. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Because it's not even about her being in a bra in this time. What she does is in the beginning of the film, this one jerk, she works for a realtor's office, and this real big jerk comes in. He's flirting with her. And he's all flashing his money at her and all that, and talking about how he's going to buy this house for his daughter's wedding present, and how, she's pretty cute. She should run away with him, and she won't have to worry about anything. He's just like this older pig, right? And she kind of gets pissed off, and he's paying for this house in cash, and the house costs like $40,000, which was a lot of money back then. I looked it up, and I think it was equivalent to I think it was equivalent to like $600,000 now. I could be wrong, but it was a lot of money. And so she took it and she left town, right? And anyways, again, she's not in her bra. And then she goes to the Bates Motel and meets up with Norman Bates, again, not in her bra. And so there's really only one scene where you see her in her bra. And I'm like, why are we putting this woman on the front cover in her bra? And I guess it's
sex sells, Gary. Sex sells.
It is. It's sex sells.
I don't understand you, Gary. Like we're just so offended and appalled by women in bras, but damn it, where are the fucking dinosaur testicles?
I don't know. I just find it irritating. I'm just like, there's nothing in. Sort of, and then it even shows like another guy, which is like her love interest in the film, with his shirt off. What are we selling here? And then Norman Bates is this tiny, tiny, tiny little picture of his face. If I was a person coming to see Psycho, I would think this lady in the bra was just batshit crazy, and this other guy might be like trying to defend himself or something. Well, that's not the film at all. Anyways, the only difference that I could really see there were subtle differences between the book and the film, but the biggest difference I found, and I get why they did it with the film, it really worked, but in the book it really worked too. Norman Bates was not a handsome man. He was not a younger man. He was late 40s. He was extremely obese. He had piggish features. He had giant round glasses, and he was the very definition of a mama's boy. And besides that, everything else that was in the movie was really close to what was in the book. But in my opinion, it made Norman Bates just that much more scary, because he's just something about like unattractive people when they're trying to seduce women and things that just, I don't know, it's just a little more spooky. If any of you have seen The Human Centipede 2, which I'm not a fan of, but the guy who played the guy who was like sewing people up, that's how I picture Norman Bates in the book. So if you get a chance, read the book Psycho. Not to be one of those people, but I'm going to be one of those people. The book, in my opinion, was better than the film. But they came out after the book was a success and the film was a success. The writer came out with a second book, Psycho 2, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And he made a third one, and I hated that one too, because it had nothing to do with Norman Bates. Nothing. He was in the very beginning and he was in the very end. And I mean the first few pages, and that was it. The entire time has to deal with him, and it doesn't, and it's horrible, and that's where I have to say about it.
And they didn't make sequels of the movie to match the books?
No, which was probably a good thing. So in the second movie, we find out that the lady who actually stole the money, which was Janet, I can't remember her name in the actual film at this point, but the real lady's name is Janet. She's obviously killed off by Norman in Motel 1 by getting slashed to death. But she has a younger sister that goes looking for her, and she gets Sam, which was her love interest, and blah, blah, blah. And they try to hunt down her lost sister who's been murdered. Well, in the second book, we find out that her sister actually hooks up with Sam, and they become, not the book, but the second movie, they actually hook up, and it turned out they had kids and all that. And so there's a big twist right there. But one tidbit, one cool kind of fact is I actually know the guy. Like, we're not like buddy, but like I talk to him a few times a week. Director Mick Garris actually he directed Psycho 4, which was actually like really good. If you get a chance, in my opinion, the Psycho movies are ranked Psycho 1, Psycho 4, Psycho 2, and Psycho 3. And you don't watch them in that order, of course, but if you want like quality, Psycho 4 was good, you guys, because it was like a prequel, and it was like, whoa, dude, it was cool. But so Mother was in the house, she's dead, obviously. Well, Mick actually stole that. I shouldn't say stole. Mick has that prop, and he has it in his personal office. So as he's working, Mother is always watching him as he types. And
did he ever tell you, don't tell anybody I have this?
He did not say that. He did not say that, and that's why I'm not using the word stolen. I'm saying he has it, and it's a fact that people know he has it. So I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, so that is my comparison of Psycho and the book and the film.
So I want to go back to one thing that you said.
Yeah.
You mentioned Centipede 2.
Yes.
Did you see Centipede 1?
I saw Centipede 1.
And just real quick, I don't want you to give a synopsis because I would like to hear your synopsis on another podcast one day. But
right.
Did you like it or not like it?
I liked 1.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised that there actually came out with the 2.
I liked 1. 2 was horrible. 1 I enjoyed, and I enjoyed.
I thought 1 was bad enough. I'm sorry. I just
no.
I've never even seen it because I hear what it's about, and I'm like, I don't know if that's anything that interests me. But I will like to hear the synopsis to find out if it's something I want to watch or not, because it does kind of sound interesting, but I don't know that I can.
Scientist movie. He's crazy, and he's trying to make a human centipede.
Why?
Because it's a mad scientist movie. He's crazy, and that's what's fun.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Because it works.
It did work.
Horrible. That's horrible.
Then it stopped working. But
it worked till it didn't.
Yeah. The body's immune system didn't like it. I don't know. But in the second one, I think it's a 20 person centipede.
Holy moly!
How long was the first one?
Just 3.
Oh.
What constitutes a centipede? Like, how many legs is that? That's a lot of legs. What is centipede?
Yeah. Ooh, let's look it up. I'm gonna go.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know why they're calling it a human centipede. But what else would you call it?
Yeah. Caterpillar. Doesn't sound as scary.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it has to have 100 centipedes.
Yeah. Now, though, in the second one, what did they do?
Oh, wait. It says, oddly enough, no centipede has 100 legs, as they'll always have an odd pair of feet. They will have more or less than 100 legs.
Now, what's 20 times 4? 80. Okay, so that still doesn't make any sense. I don't know. But the second one was horrible. Like, the gore factor was way overboard. and it was not my favorite film ever. Apparently, there's a third one I heard, but I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll.
They made 3 of them.
Huh?
They made 3 of them.
I think there is a third one. I think so.
That's a lot of people that are willing to be stitched together just for a movie.
Yeah, especially that way.
Yeah, there is a Human Centipede 3, the final sequence. It's a 2015 film.
Oh, good. At least they put the final sequence in there.
I'm waiting for them to stitch 100 to have 100 legs.
Yeah.
I will be happy to call it a centipede. It is not a centipede.
Yeah. I'm with you. I won't see another one until they do that.
Yeah. I'm on strike until.
Let's see. I don't know. We'll have to do some when you do research on that, or when you do your synopsis on all of those. You'll have to tell us. You'll have to do research as to why they don't find 100 legs. Like what?
So next week we'll do the Human Centipede.
Can you write the actual directors from the or the even cat writers or whatever and be like, why? I need answers. I've got a podcast.
And I'll see if they won't respond to me on Twitter or some type of social media. Gosh, maybe we could even try to rope one of them to be a guest. I don't know. I'll try.
There you go.
Yeah, sure.
What else are they doing? Stitching people together?
Yeah. All right. So my paranormal story of the night, I was reading through this last week. I actually did a lot of I couldn't kind of stop learning about it last week because this is kind of crazy for me. There's a girl, her name is Teresita Basa, and she was originally from the Philippines, but the story took place in Chicago, Illinois. She'd been working in Chicago as, I don't know if it was a nurse, respiratory therapist. She was working as a respiratory therapist at a hospital in Chicago. And she was born in 1929, and this took place in February of 1979. But this is one of the stories that kind of, if you're on the fence on if you believe that there's an afterlife, like this is one of the stories that comes to mind for a lot of people to kind of say, yeah, because the mystery is not how she died, who killed her. The mystery is how it was solved, because it is believed that she solved it from beyond the grave. So she lived alone in her apartment, and her apartment caught fire. When the paramedics showed up and the fire department showed up, they realized that this was not just a fire. There was something tragic that had happened, because she was stabbed and the knife was still in her, and the mattress was on top of her, and then they lit the mattress on fire. And I guess they thought that was going to get rid of the evidence, which it did, because they had no idea. She didn't have any enemies. There was no leads. There was no leads on where to go. Well, she had somebody, a coworker that she wasn't even specifically close to, but the coworker was at work and just started getting these visions while she was at work of her coworker being dead, dying, letting somebody into her house. And then she realized that this is somebody that, when she realized who she had let into the house, the coworker, her name was Remy Chua. When Remy realized that it was somebody that they actually worked with at the hospital that she was seeing in her visions that was let into her house. But what was she going to do? Go to the police and say, hey, I'm having these premonitions? She knew that she was going to sound crazy, so she just kind of kept it to herself. Well, then one night she's sleeping in bed, and as clear as I am talking to you guys, Teresita's voice came through, and the husband jumped out of bed and said, did you hear that? And the wife was like, did you hear that? And he says, yeah, what was it? She says, she's been following me and she's been telling me this. And the husband, who was he was a therapist, a psychotherapist at the time, he asked her, tell me more about what's happening. And Remy explained, just told him word for word. And he actually did hypnosis. So he put her in, did hypnosis, and she channeled Teresita, and they realized that the man had stolen jewelry. So there they had something to take to the police. So she went to the police. She told them their story. Of course, they're not taking this medium story very seriously. but they didn't know that jewelry would be missing from the apartment. So now they knew let's look for jewelry. And she described a ring that he had given to his wife. And she described it in great detail. So they went and questioned this man. His name was, Alan Showery. They went and questioned him. And when they went and questioned him, sure enough, the wife was wearing a ring just like the lady had described it. So they asked the wife, where'd you get that ring? And she said, he had just given it to me a few weeks ago. Well, with this ring as evidence, they just brought him in for more questioning and said, listen, we know you stole this ring from her apartment. And he ended up just giving a full confession. There was nothing that this lady that she just worked in the hospital with this chimp Remy. She just worked in the hospital with them. She wasn't close friends with either one of them. She had no reason to even know that Alan Showery would know where this Teresita lived, or even that Teresita would have invited this person into her home. The whole thing is just crazy. So the police were obviously not too sure about the report with the medium, but they do say that there's enough questionable evidence there to support that she was getting these premonitions, something was coming through. She was channeling something that may have been from the other side.
And how many years ago was that?
This was in 1979.
Oh, wow.
So, and what I found was weird is it's one thing if you think you're crazy and you're hearing things, but when something comes through that's loud enough that other people hear it too, that's what's crazy. I've had situations like that happen where I feel like I feel something, and then it's like they want to make themselves known. So if the footsteps gets louder or whatever, and somebody else says, "Did you hear that?" "Yeah, I heard that." So then you psych yourself out a little bit. But in this case, he with him being the psychotherapist, he immediately no, we got to figure out what's going on. And I'm surprised he kind of went there instead of thinking he was going crazy himself. But he listened to her. And if they wouldn't have been able to further channel that, they would not have known that this ring was even given to his wife. But that's ultimately what ended up catching him. So he served 14 years for her rape and murder, and he was a serial rapist.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So he was on others.
How did they know he was a serial rapist?
From that ring being caught, he confessed to everything.
But he only went away for hers?
Yeah, 14 years for the murder and the rape.
Yeah, but why so little of a time?
I don't know. We got to look up Chicago laws and figure out, especially with it sounds like that's I would want to stab her, and then what if she's not dead yet? You know what I mean? Then you terrify her and put a mattress over her, light her on fire. I just feel like that's just an excruciating way to die. Also,
You need life for that, if not the death penalty.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand. There are people that are doing life for a lot less than that. So, not to get to Kim Kardashian on here though, but there are people that are doing life for a lot less. That's why she's wanting to go to law school, to get rid of, to help people overcome their third strike rule or whatever that is too harsh for them. And I was just reading up more on that. But anyway, so that I just found that interesting because I thought one, I was kind of looking up stories of what, how people who have communicated with the other side, or what are some stories that might help you believe that the other side exists or whatever. And this is one of the stories that kept popping up because it's just unexplainable. There was no known connection for this Remy to know Alan, other than she did work at the hospital with her, but there was no it's not like she went to drinks with him. She wouldn't have known that he had ever even knew the other. They just worked the three of them just worked at the same place. There was no means for their paths to ever really cross, except for maybe a parking lot. Right. They didn't work in the same areas, the same departments.
Wow.
Now, how they do think that she knew him, and when he showed up at her door, so she probably wasn't hesitant to open the door. but they don't think that she knew that they were fond. Like, it's not like they had a relationship where she would have been comfortable, like, hey, come on in. They do think that that was pretty, that he forced himself on her and into her home.
Yeah, he's knocked on the door and said, hey, we work with each other I just realized you were a neighbor. Something like that. So many things you would have struck up a conversation.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what they were saying. It was just like they believe it was just based on her premonitions and what she has told people, that they do believe it was just, he had kind of like came in as like a friendly neighbor. And I don't even think he was a neighbor in the neighborhood. I was reading up on it too, but they do think that that's kind of how he got himself into her home.
Right.
It's crazy. It's weird. It's weird to me that both her, one, she was seeing the premonitions, and then two, not her and her husband both heard it. Like, I don't like stuff like that. So I don't know if you're watching me right now, please don't do that to me. I can't handle that. I'd rather be crazy. It's fine. One thing, if I think I'm crazy, but I need somebody to be the voice of reason to sit there and be like, no, you're fine. You're fine. I don't need somebody sitting there freaking out with me, because that's just scarier. Like,
I can actually remember like us you and I together being in a house and being like, because I didn't know you were seeing something and I've seen it. And then you were like, you seen that? I'm like, yeah. Do you remember that in the hallway?
Yeah, I do remember that in that hallway. And what I find, every time I think about that hallway when we were younger, is that Hat Man story, because there is a whole, like, I've seen this Hat Man character as a young child, and I've always described it the same way. And now there's a whole documentary on Amazon Prime about this Hat Man character that's just seen globally. Like, I don't know if it's like I can't bring myself to watch the documentary because I'm afraid of everything, but I think it's like a shadow person.
And where's this on Prime?
We'll watch it tonight.
I think there's one on Prime about the Marlboro Man too. So don't get too carried away with this.
Is that the cigarette cowboy? Is that the Marlboro Man?
What? Yeah, the cigarette guy, the cigarette cowboy. You know
what's on the Prime with it?
Wow.
Well, I could watch that. That I could watch. I don't want to watch something that's going to be scaring me. Anyways, that's my paranormal story of the night. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to share before we sign off?
Well, hang on. What I see about the Hat Man. Hat Man is a completely dark entity, most similar to what people could more easily identify as a shadow person.
Yeah. What's funny is when I was sharing my story one time with Brandon, Molly's old boyfriend, he was like, he doesn't believe in it. He's atheist, but he was looking at me. He's like, I had that same, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen that before too. And I'm not saying like you have to be any kind of religion to believe this, but he doesn't usually, like, he had supernatural things. He's just not in, like, that's just not something that he would normally feed into. But when I was telling him my story, he's like, yes, I have felt that. I forgot that I felt that, but yes, I've seen that before. I was like, oh,
okay.
Welcome back to the nightmares, Brandon.
This looks absolutely terrifying. I want to watch this.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. And what's weird is that we don't watch shows like that, so I don't know why it keeps popping up on my For You. Like, I mean, thing I need to watch. Like,
because he hears you talk about it.
Yeah, he wants you to see him.
Yeah.
Eyewitnesses share their stories of how they encountered an evil entity known as the Hat Man.
Yeah,
an evil entity.
Wow.
What is so weird to me too is that I didn't grow up, like, to me he's all the figure that I always seen. I looked like the neighborhood watch guy. Like, we didn't have
sign.
The neighborhood, the sign, the logo for neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
We didn't have neighborhood watch, but my grandparents had a neighborhood watch sign right outside their house, and it just used to scare me because it reminded me of that figure. And I was like, couldn't they have picked anything else for their logo? But it's funny because when you see these videos or these documentaries, it's still exactly what he looks like, the neighborhood watch guy. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
He never ages.
It's a shadow.
Well, it's a shadow person. I don't know enough about, I do just from the little bits that I know, shadow people are what? Common. People see them. They're one of the most common types
I
of.
see mine every day. Only during daylight hours, though. So I'm not scared of them.
I don't see mine every day.
Do we want to watch the trailer right now?
Sure.
Okay.
You got all of us with you, Heather. Don't be scared.
I thought I heard you say, "Do we want to wash the trailer?"
No.
Washing nothing. I'm talking about.
You gotta swab the deck.
Swab the deck.
Of course, there's an ad to watch the ad. So we gotta watch. Okay.
Can you see it?
All I seen was Heather's face.
I know. I was gonna say, I see me.
Scary.
I looked at the end of my bed, and there was a tall man. I say man because of what he was wearing. He had a black brim hat and black trench coat.
What did happen is started showing up when I was not in sleep paralysis at all. Bigger than me, I'm 6 foot something, and he's always taller than I am.
And I've seen the Huntman arrived in the doorway, which gave you a real sense of foreboding of that night.
I don't really know how to explain how he stares at you because he's just this tall black silhouette, and so it's like you can't see any of his features. You can't see his nose or his eyes or his mouth. You can't see anything. But you know, like, it's staring right at you.
It's trying to rationalize the irrational.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I can't lie.
Makes it irrational. So it's and even though I've seen the Hat Man my whole life, you can't prepare for it. Even though I know what to expect, it's fresh and new every single time.
Because I thought I was crazy for so many years. I didn't even know there was a whole thing about this guy until
That's how I feel.
I just Googled his appearance and everything.
Yes, that's what I did too.
But he's never. Was he communicating?
I think that he is Lucifer in the flesh, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely not
It's a long trailer. Are you sure it's not a whole movie?
No,
Yeah, the trailer's like 2 minutes.
Slowly coming out.
it's definitely not a comforting presence. That is for sure. I have had incidents where I feel like I've had presents with me that were comforting. Like, I'll never forget one time I had food poisoning or something and was throwing up, and there was this little Chinese lady by me. I don't know why there had to be a Asian lady by me, but she was comforting. Like, nothing about her was scary. But this one it's not. There's nothing comforting about it. It's very, very.
This little Chinese lady's nothing more than 5 foot tall. You're 5'2". You can take that one.
4'11".
I was
This
sick.
Hat Man looks like he's 6 feet tall.
Well, I didn't notice him tall. He floated. Like, I didn't see, like, when I was younger, he always looked exactly the same, just the top part of the silhouette with the hat, and he floated. And now
Does he actually do anything though, or does he just stand there and like watch people?
Just stands there. But it's very, very, the presence that comes with it is very, very, very evil. Like, I can't explain. It's just not, there's no peace. It's very frightening.
Just likes to watch people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like people are saying like they see eyes and stuff. I didn't have anything like that. It was just very like you were in his territory and you were not supposed to be there. And if you're going to be there, you're going to do things his way. Like, it was just like it was just a very controlled feeling that you felt, but it was not a good, comforting, controlled feeling. It was get up and run, or you're going to get sucked into something bad.
Wow.
And that's why you ended up in my room all the time.
Yeah, but it'd be in your room too. It wasn't comforting. There was no comforting when you would see this presence. It was just, and there was nothing you can do to make it go away. And if you listen to these little clips and stuff, people explain it the exact same way. So I don't know if that, like that house, you had somebody do something bad to themselves, so that maybe it is connected to some kind of evil presence. I don't know, but
Right. I don't know. Scary. Weird.
like you would think running to your parents' bedroom is comforting, and it just so that you're not by yourself. I would do it just so I'm not by myself, but it didn't change. Like if you've seen the figure there, like there's nothing.
It's not real comforting when you run in and everybody says, "Get back out of your bed!"
I have to remind myself of that when my own kids are coming into my bed. So that's why they're 7 years old, still sleeping in my bed most of the nights because of this guy that's on that documentary right there.
All I see is Gary now.
Get your hat, Gary. Get your hat. Oh my gosh, we got to do that as a room. That's going to be a good room.
I don't know if I can.
Play the documentary on the outside. Play the TV on the outside. Oh my gosh, new room.
I'm going to start with that.
I don't know. You might awaken something you don't want to awaken.
That's what I would feel with that. Like, I don't think I'd be able to ever do a room with that because that's like playing the Ouija board. Like, I don't.
No, that's like not having to pay a haunt character.
Yeah, he'll show up year after year, whether you want him to or not.
How cool is that?
No, I would pass on that. All right, friends, if you're still with us, obviously we've shared something that's intrigued you. So we're going to ask that you share our podcast with your haunt families. That's our target audience. Next week, we are going to be talking about cast members, the no-shows. We're going to talk about the no-shows, not just the cast members.
Finding out where the hell Molly's been all these weeks.
Yeah. So if you have any no-show experiences that you'd like to share with us, and it doesn't even have to be in the haunt industry, it could just be in your everyday life because showing up is important no matter what industry you work in. Send us a message. Let us share your story. It's hauntafterahours@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Facebook. The Facebook page is Haunt After Hours. That's going to be our topic next week. Until next time, let's stay connected. And remember,
do it for the haunt.
I missed it. Do it over. Do it for the haunt.